From the moment we're old enough to understand words, we're taught that if we just do the right things, if we work hard, if we're kind, if we follow the rules, life will reward us. We believe that goodness equals blessings, that struggle guarantees eventual ease, that heartbreak is balanced out by happiness if we're patient enough. But here's the truth: nobody wants to say out loud, life doesn't operate on fairness. It doesn't hand out prizes because you suffered. The world isn't a vending machine where effort goes in and rewards come out. You can be the kindest, hardest working, most honest person and still face rejection, failure, and loss. And while that might sound harsh at first, it's actually liberating. Because once you let go of the myth of deserving, you stop waiting for life to hand you anything and start building what you want for yourself. There's a subtle trap that catches even the most well intentioned people: entitlement disguised as hard work. We tell ourselves that because we've put in effort, because we've sacrificed, because we've struggled, the universe owes us success. But that mindset keeps us stuck. It shifts our focus from action to expectation. And when the reward doesn't come in the form we imagined, we feel bitter, resentful, cheated. Empowerment, on the other hand, is the opposite of entitlement. Empowerment says, I may not be owed anything, but I am capable of creating everything. It's not about waiting for the world to recognize your worth. It's about showing up day after day and building a life that reflects it, whether anyone notices or not. When you shift from entitlement to empowerment, you stop looking at what life owes you and start focusing on what you owe yourself. Life isn't fair. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can find peace. Bad things happen to good people. Unqualified people get the job. The wrong person gets the credit. The hardest worker doesn't always win. But here's the part most people miss. In that unfairness is the raw beauty of reality. Because nothing is guaranteed, everything is possible. You're not trapped in some cosmic contract that says, do this, get that. Instead, you're given a blank canvas every day. No promises, no obligations, just endless potential. The world isn't obligated to give you happiness, success, love, or ease, but it offers you opportunities, moments where you can choose how to show up, what to build, how to grow. And in that uncertainty lies your freedom. One of the quickest ways to fall into bitterness is to believe that life owes you the same blessings it's given to someone else. You see someone succeed and think, why them? Why not me? But comparison is a trap. It distracts you from your path. It convinces you that someone else's timeline should be yours, but their journey is not your journey. Their wins are not your losses. Life doesn't hand out identical gifts at identical times. And when you measure your worth or progress against someone else's highlight reel, you rob yourself of the ability to appreciate your own. The question isn't, why did they get it? The question is, what am I building? What am I choosing? What am I creating, regardless of what anyone else has? There's something terrifying about realizing life doesn't owe you anything. But if you lean into that terror, you'll find freedom. Because when you accept that there are no guarantees, no cosmic promises that say you'll succeed if you try, you stop waiting. You stop hesitating. You stop believing in some magical moment when everything will fall into place. Instead, you start now. You work with what you have. You build anyway. When nothing is guaranteed, every bit of progress becomes a gift. Every small win feels real. Every step forward is yours, not something handed to you by a system or by fate. And that's where real strength lives, in the decision to create without expecting anything in return. If life owes you nothing, what do you hold on to? Your choices, your effort, your integrity, your alignment. You can't control the outcomes. You can't force the world to reward you, but you can control how you show up. You can choose to work hard, not because it guarantees success, but because that's who you want to be. You can choose to love, not because it ensures you'll be loved back, but because love is who you are. You can choose to align your actions with your values, not for applause, but for peace. And when you do that, you stop chasing outcomes and start focusing on the only thing that ever really mattered: the process, the becoming, the building, the being. It's easy to become bitter when you think life owes you something and it doesn't deliver. You start keeping score. You tally up your good deeds, your hard work, your sacrifices, and when the world doesn't reward them, you harden. but bitterness is just pain that never found a purpose. Letting go of bitterness starts with acceptance. Life isn't personal. The universe isn't against you. It's not for you either. It just is. And once you stop taking that neutrality as an insult, you can begin to use it as fuel. Every disappointment becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes data. Every no becomes redirection. Bitterness chains you to the past. Acceptance frees you to move forward. At the end of the day, life gives you what you build, not what you deserve, not what you were promised, not what you dreamed of while doing nothing, what you build. That's why some people with fewer resources, fewer advantages, fewer lucky breaks end up with lives of richness and purpose. They didn't wait for fairness. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They got to work. And when you embrace that mindset, you stop waiting for life to owe you something. You realize that everything you want is on the other side of effort, persistence, creativity, and courage. Not guarantees, not fairness, just work, just choice, just you, showing up again and again. When you let go of the idea that life owes you something, you stop carrying yesterday's scorecard. You stop measuring today against what you feel you should have gotten by now. You start fresh. Every day becomes a blank slate. You're not owed success because you tried hard yesterday. You're not owed ease because you struggled last year. But that's good news because it means every day you have another shot, another chance to create, to try, to build. Nothing is promised, but everything is possible. And that shift from expectation to possibility is what turns a bitter life into a hopeful one. When you stop believing that life owes you anything, you stop blaming, you stop waiting, you stop resenting. And in that space, something incredible happens. You start taking radical responsibility. You stop saying, why won't life give me what I deserve? And start asking, what can I do with what I have? You stop focusing on what's missing and start focusing on what's possible. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming a creator of circumstance. That's where your power lives. Not in what life hands you, but in what you build with your own two hands, your own choices, your own heart. And that's how you stop waiting for life to owe you anything and start living like you owe it to yourself to try.